Brothers and sisters, today for this Sunday, the fifth Sunday in Lent, we are just 1 week away from the Holy Week. So today as you enter the church, you notice the crucifix alongside with the holy images that we have, statues, are all veiled. At some churches, this veiling is done on Holy Thursday. Immediately after Wednesday service, the veiling of the crucifixes, the veiling of the holy images and icons are done. But in other churches, other cultures, it is done on Palm Sunday, because Palm Sunday is the beginning of the Holy Week. However, in a very most traditional way, this practice of veiling of the crucifixes and statues are done on the fifth Sunday in Lent, that is in May. So we are living in a very binary world, which means we want black or white, we want yes or no, we want 1 or 0. But it may not work as such all the time, because in the church, and especially the culture of the church, there is always a plurality. More than one ways of doing things may not be necessarily this way alone. For those of you who have grown up in the culture of veiling the crucifixes and holy statues on Holy Thursday, it is absolutely okay. For those of us who have grown up in the culture of veiling even Palm Sunday, it's also absolutely. And for those of us who are immersed in this very culture, then veil the statues and the cross 2 weeks prior to Good Friday, which is today, is also absolutely okay. And again, as I say, it is the plurality. There is no one way. The truth is one, but the way we explain the truth is diverse. So no particular culture has a monopoly over the truth. The truth is explained in various ways. It can go on Thursday, it can be Palm Sunday, it can also be 5th Sunday in Lent. I am chosen as for our parish to do it on 5th Sunday for 2 reasons. Because 5th Sunday is the ancient pole. It is the oldest culture compared to Palm Sunday veiling and Holy Thursday veiling. And second reason is because it is something new for us, so we can highlight something new in order to educate and catechize all of us. Otherwise, it will get stuck to just one way of doing things. So, however, this tradition of waiting has got ancient old meaning since the implementation of Novus Ordo. Novus Ordo means new order. Since the implementation of the new order of the Mass. If you had not the old order, others to paper with advanced in age, you know how old order was celebrated in Latin alone, and we were along the priest decreasing the other side. There are many other differences. So since Novus Ordo, the new order, in 1969, Palm Sunday is also known as the Passion Sunday. So you get followed with the Passion Sunday, Palm Sunday, 5th Sunday, etc., etc. So it is the new order in 1969. Palm Sunday is also known as the Passion Sunday, the beginnings of the meditation of the Lord's Passion. And this is why on Palm Sunday we read the Passion reading, particularly Passion reading, and we participate in the Passion reading. It is very interesting how the church was normally the Gospels are only read by clergymen, the bishop, the priest, the deacons. But on Palm Sunday, in that Passion reading, which is also the Gospel, the people are participating in the Gospel by being narrator, by being other speaker, by being crowd, and all of people will play, shout, crucify, and that shows the universal participation in Christ's very passion. So this is how the church invites us to immerse ourselves into Christ's passion. And that's why the church will allow us to participate even in the reading of the passion. So prior to 1969, before 1969, the Passion Sunday is not attached to Palm Sunday. the Passion Sunday is attached to the 5th Sunday in Lent, which is today, giving us ample time to immerse ourselves into the Passion of Christ. At least 2 weeks to meditate, to reflect, to immerse into the very Passion of Christ, which is attached to the 5th Sunday. So, both has got its own significance. But today, by and large, we attach it to the Palm Sunday, or 1 week, we immerse ourselves into the Passion of Christ. So this custom of meditating the Lord's Passion is also marked by the way of the covering, simple words, the covering of the way of the crucifixes. If there is only one crucifix, only one, and the statues and holy images. So when we look at this, we know we are going to immerse ourselves into the Lord's Passion by reading the Passion, reading it by all the penitential work. So there are a few reasons why the church has embarked upon this custom of weighing the crucifix and the statues. There are many reasons. I just would like to highlight 4 reasons for our reflection this morning. First reason is taken out from the second reading today, which has been written to the Hebrews. The second reading, the central message of the letter which has been written to Hebrew is about Christ entering the Holy of Holies. Christ entering the sanctuary. We must remember that the author of the second reading is writing to the Hebrews as it is dated. Reading to the Hebrews. So the author is very much familiar with the what is Hebrew. So when you tell the Hebrew-speaking people, Christ entered the sanctuary, it means Holy of Holies, which is in a temple, a Jewish temple. Holy of Holies is the holiest place, according to their understanding, because that's where the Ark of the Covenant is placed. So when Christ entered the Holy of Holies, they can understand very clearly that Christ has entered the very presence of God. Because Ark of the Covenant is the most significant presence of the Lord. As we have tabernacle, they have the Ark of the Covenant. So, what divided the Holy of Holies, the sanctuary, from the common people, from the common place of the people, is a curtain. Just a simple curtain divides the Holy of Holies, the sanctuary, from the place of the people, preventing people from having the full sight of what's happening beyond the curtain. That was the understanding, because what happens beyond the curtain is holy. Therefore, the people can have the full sight. It is Old Testament. And what is the spirituality basis of this custom? Moses. When Moses went up to the peak of the Mount Sinai, people were left at the foot of the mountain, and people had no chance of seeing what's happening at the peak of the mountain. And that's where Moses came down with God. So therefore, there's a clear dichotomy. There's a clear division. People are at the peak of the mountain, God is at the peak of the mountain. Moses will go from the people in order to see God. When Moses speaks or sees God, people have no chance to encounter what's happening. So that's the spiritual basis. So the message, brothers and sisters, the message here is not about preventing people from getting nearer to God. That is not the message when we have this custom of weighing. But this custom of weighing today in the church, weighing the crucifix and weighing the holy images, prepares us for Good Friday. It is an anticipatory note. It is not a prevention, but it is anticipation. So when we weigh, we prepare for Good Friday. Because when you focus on Good Friday action reading, you will hear when the curtain of the sanctuary would be torn apart upon the death of Christ. There will be just the pay attention, the reading on Passion Sunday and Good Friday, as Jesus is about to die and Jesus is dying, and there will be a big earthquake trembling, there was big darkness overwhelming the earth. And then at that point in time, after the death of Jesus, the curtain in the sanctuary will be torn apart. So if you put all these things in this jigsaw company, if you look at it in such a parallel way, we will understand a greater reality. And the greater reality is the good news for all of us. The good news is that only Jesus Christ and only by His glorious and holy death we have access to God, without which we have no access because there is a curtain. And the curtain was torn apart and thrown away upon the death of Jesus. And we want to remember this. As Christians, we want to remember this truth, that it is only through Christ we have access to God. And that's precisely why we day. So that it reminds us on Good Friday, this day will be repeated. Because Jesus has given us the access to God. So it should not stop at a superstition day. If it stops at just purposely come to pick up a purple clock, I think it defeats the purpose. There is nothing more grave than that. It should go beyond to understand that it is Christ and Good Friday, that is various evening, we have access to God. Second point is taken from a few readings which come hereafter. From today onwards, we will focus our readings, especially the Gospel especially, would focus on the message of Christ hiding away from the crowd and the Pharisees. If you randomly pick some of the Gospels from today onwards, you will see the sentence, it states that Christ is hiding from the Pharisees, Christ is hiding from the chief priests, Christ is going away from the crowd, and you see the element of Christ hiding himself away from the crowd and the Pharisees. So the point of hiding here is not about Christ being a coward. It's not cowardice. It is not even about Christ's fear of the cross, but it is about not missing the important mark. Christ does not want to miss a very important mark, and that's why he goes off. Because if he stays there, he might miss a very important mark. And what is in the heart? So all these things that Christ is hiding, it took place during the feast of the Passover. As people at least were preparing for the feast of Passover. And the feast of Passover is actually the most important festival in a year where the entire Israel, the entire nation, the entire country gathers in Jerusalem. Because that's where the feast of Passover during Jesus' time is celebrated. So it is a very festive atmosphere where many people will be around. So if Jesus had not hidden from that crowd, he probably may have been very attractive. As we know, Jesus' preaching, Jesus' miracles attracted so many people. And that's why when Jesus entered into Jerusalem on Palm Sunday, they didn't say, "Blessed are you." They say, "Hosanna, Hosanna, blessed are you, come in the name of the Lord, Hosanna in the highest." Because Jesus is so attractive. So if Jesus had stayed there, if he had not hidden himself from the crowd, Jesus may have become extremely popular by a feast of Passover. So they were counted again, and therefore the fame and popularity of Jesus may have been an obstacle to the cross. People have prevented Jesus from assuming the cross because there were so famous. He could have been so famous and popular. So Jesus avoided the eye of public so that he is not well known and to renounce. Ultimately, they will shout and crucify him because for them he is not important. So the second point, brothers and sisters, about Jesus hiding away from the crowd serves to remind us that Christ voluntarily, the most important part of this word is voluntarily gave himself up on a cross. He was not forced. Certainly he was not forced because he had all the chance. to sneak away, to chicken out, but he voluntarily achieved the cross. He was not forced to love you and I. He voluntarily loved you and I, brothers and sisters. The third point about the way which comes from the ancient church, from the apostles' era, is that the cross, as for you, cross is a symbol, for you and I today, the cross would be a symbol of shame. But in the early church, at least 400 years after the death of Jesus, the cross was not a symbol of shame. We must remove the understanding from our mind. For the apostles and for the disciples of the apostles, the cross was not a symbol of shame. The cross was a symbol of glory. For them, the cross is a symbol of glory, not shame. And this is why in the old church, the apostles' church, the cross is open, the crucifix is open, made of gold, not only wood, made of gold and silver and expensive stuff, especially gold. And the decorations that we place around the cross in the early church corners are all made of gold or expensive, precious jewels or items. This is to symbolize that cross is not a symbol of shame, it's a symbol of glory, because that's where the salvation is coming from. So in order to bring up this idea to us, you may also have seen certain cross that have some Greek alphabets on it. Can we have this slide? So this is some of the crosses that you may have seen. Though this does not really resemble the Celtic cross, but the church fathers in at least first 400 years have come up with a cross like this in a design to tell us that cross is glory, is not shame. And you see there, ICXC on the top horizontal. ICXC is an abbreviation, short form for Jesus Christ. ICXC, these are Greek letters. ICXC means Jesus Christ. Then at the bottom horizontal you see NIKA, which means victory. So what does this Greek Orthodox cross tell us? It says Jesus Christ victory. They like to pronounce this in the early church so that people will understand that the cross is about glory, is not about shame. So that's the most important one in the olden church. So the third significance about the cross, we value the cross today because we are not only veiling the crucifix, but we are veiling the glory of Christ while exposing the humanity of Christ. Because this human person is going to suffer, and his suffering is real, his death is certainly real. So it tells us that Jesus of Nazareth did really die. Therefore, the third point is about the importance of Jesus' death. Because there are some who believe that while Jesus was on the cross, he did not have to pay because he was the Son of Man. No, that's wrong. Jesus had the very pain like you and I might have had. And Jesus really did die. And that's the truth. And therefore, we can proclaim the glory of the cross. So therefore, at least in this period of 2 weeks, that glory should be veiled. It should not be seen. Because the glory is seen on Good Friday. And to the greatest extent, Easter. That glory would be shown on all of us. And the fourth and the last point would be again taken from the ancient church. In the ancient church, there's something called canonical penance. Today we have sacrament of reconciliation, which is also known as confession. We go for confession for grace. But in the ancient church, it was called canonical penance. So what's the difference? In sacrament of reconciliation, you go and meet a priest, you confess your sin, and the priest gives you penance. But before you complete your penance, the priest gives you absolution. These are the things that happen. But in canonical penance, you go and confess your sin, not to the priest alone. You confess your sin publicly. So it'll be very exciting when you make this custom again. So we have to confess our sins publicly, so that everybody knows our sins. And then the priest gives penance. But it doesn't end there. The difference is the priest takes penance with duration attached to it. For example, you jump, don't say jump, you say Hail Mary, you say 3 Hail Mary for 6 months, next 6 months. That's penance. So, for the next 6 months, you have to do your penance. Only after the 6th month, you come and see the bishop for the priest for abstinence. 6 months. And this is what called canonical penance. So, absolution is not granted until the state penance is properly completed. So, during this time, the penitents, those who are coming to confession, the crucifixes and holy images are paid to it, are covered, so that the penitents, the order of penitents is all the penitents. The penitents are barred from accessing the church or accessing the holy things or even seeing the holy things. Therefore, it is covered until they are granted their absolution. But what is very interesting here is that Holy Thursday, on Holy Thursday, which is the beginning of the sacred tribute for all of us, a very important 3 days, on Holy Thursday, the penitents are ushered into the church by the bishop. So the church door will be closed. The bishop, regardless if it is compact, is closed here, he will knock the door symbolically, and then the door gets open. Then the bishop goes in, together with him, all those penitents who have immersed themselves in penance will go into the church, even though the 6-month period is not completed. Our Holy Thursday, given the exception. So it is then they begin to participate in the Mass again. So, brothers and sisters, though this custom which is coming to the very church sounds punitive and cruel, we should not judge the people of the past based on our present moral or social standard. Ours is civilized and more inclusive. So we cannot use this as a benchmark to judge, and it doesn't work like that. The custom of ushering the penitents into the church on Holy Thursday, after that the custom of uncovering the crucifix on Good Friday the next day, and after that the unveiling of holy images and statues on Holy Thursday the next day, on Holy Saturday the next day, serve to remind us that it is not the works of penance, of the penitents, the work, the Hail that they say. It is not the work of penance, but it is the work of Christ. And it is solely the work of Christ that has brought us all salvation. Our penance is a mere cooperation. We can't earn salvation no matter what we do. That is the truth of our faith. Though how holy we are, though how good we are, though how much of penance we do, though how serious penance we do, salvation is a free need. We only gratuitous gift, gratuitous peace, a gift that cannot be earned. It is given even though we are unworthy. So lastly, brothers and sisters, let us remember these 4 important truths, points that I've highlighted to you in regards to the way of the cross and holy images, especially when we look at the veiled images for the next 2 weeks, until the death of Christ is veiled apart. Without the death of Christ, His veil would continue to be there. So, when we look at His veil, we remember that the access to God, is only through Christ. Through Christ means through the church that Christ is appointed. Because Christ told the church, those who listen to you, listen to me. Simple. Those who listen to you, listen to me. Those who seek you forgive, they are forgiven. Those who seek you reject, they shall be rejected. As simple as that. So the access to God is only through Christ, because He is the irreplaceable face of the unseen God. So obedience to Christ. Christ, second point, Christ was not running away from the cross, but he voluntarily embraced it in order to save us all. So when you look at the purple cloth, it should remind us of this, that Christ voluntarily given up his life to save us all. Again, when you look at the purple cloth, we should be reminded that Christ embraced the cross even to the point of outright wailing his own divinity. And his divinity is something very central to Jesus. And Christ even to weigh that off in order to save us. Third reality. And the fourth, which is also important to find out, Christ has done all the things that I have said above, all the three things that I have said above. Therefore, none of our work, none of our great work can supersede his salvific or salvation act. He has done, as the book of letter to the Hebrews says, once and for all. Which. So our work, whatever it may be, it cannot supersede Christ's faith. So our work of penance merely cooperates with his word, not with grace. We can't earn our salvation, it is freely given.